Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Sunday the 23rd of April 2023, St George's Day, and we start off today's video by looking at the table because the inevitable has happened. I'm surprised it hasn't happened earlier. We've won one game in, was it 7 or 8 or 9? We failed to score in about 5 or 6 games. I mean, how it hasn't happened sooner, I do not know, but we are officially out of the playoffs with 2 games to go for us, 3 games to go for Blackburn and West Brom. More on that later. But yes, because today Sunderland played West Brom and Sunderland beat West Brom 2-1. So there you go. We are 7th. We are out of it as it stands. We have a chance to go back into it by beating Blackpool on Friday night. And more on that later. What the upcoming week of the championship looks like, because there's a lot of games this week. Interesting. So we're going to move on to this from londonnewsonline.co.uk. 4 takeaways from Millwall's 2-1 defeat of Wigan Athletic. Lions left anxiously watching other results as they failed to deliver at DW Stadium. Millwall lost 2-1 at Wigan Athletic on Saturday. Here are Richard Crawley's takeaways from the match. Grinding it out. To say that some of the teams chasing the final 2 playoff places are making hard work of it is an understatement, and that certainly applies to Millwall. Luckily, it also applies to Blackburn Rovers, Preston North End and Norwich City. But there are only so many times you can't deliver a result and expect to get away with it. Millwall dropped to 6 on Saturday evening, with Coventry City climbing above them, and West Bromwich Albion in 8th. 10th place Sunderland can knock Garrow outside out of the last prize slot if either of them is victorious in the lunchtime fixture today. Well, we now know that Sunderland were. Blackburn's game in hand on the South London is on Tuesday at home to a Burnley side that slipped up to a 2-1 at home to QPR yesterday. It means Millwall fans are once again going to be glued to results over the coming days. No doubt in my mind, except the reason for that subheading is that the Wigan pre-match music, also immediately after their side's victory yesterday, was the Monkey Time of Believer. Millwall didn't play like a side with a whole lot of confidence or belief at the DW Stadium. It was a flat performance. The dynamism came from James McLean, Christ Teal, Callum Lang and Will Keane, as the Lynx played with an urgency that mirrored the fact that their championship status was on the line. The Lions have taken 11 points from the last 10 matches, so that's 30 points. 10 matches times 3, that's 30 points. They've taken 11 points from that, compared to 18 points in their 10 fixtures before that. Creativity an issue. Millwall were largely ineffectual yesterday. The only moment of fluidity led to the goal. Callum Stiles started on the left wing. Preference to Andreas Vogelsammer slipped the ball down the side of the penalty area. Tom Bradshaw's low cross forced home by George Saville. 30 minutes on the clock. Yeah, it's exactly what I was kind of saying. That Bradshaw should move over, shouldn't just play in the middle near the penalty spot, he should come across. And he did. Callum Stiles played the ball down to the left hand side of the penalty area. Tom Bradshaw came across. What that meant was then George Saville could run into the gap that Bradshaw left, and he dragged the defender over with him. He then cuts it back into where he just was and where Saville is now, and he scores the goal. So exactly what I've been saying, which the reason why I was saying that in previous videos, like if you're going to play it 2 up front, that's what they can do. They can move the defenders around and they can do that kind of thing. You expected that to settle the Lions down after a subdued start, but it didn't. Oliver Burke whipped in a fine low cross, which Bradshaw and the sliding Styles could not get a touch on before the interval. And the self-inflicted Wigan mistake also handed Scotland a shooting chance, blocked by the legs of Jamie Jones. Those were the only 2 chances after Saville struck. Wigan carried the greater threat in this second period and had the pace to counter on the Lions for Philo Asgard's 84th minute winner. Keane produced a perfect release pass for Lang to break away on a counter. Athletic's number 19 teeing up the Norwegian under-20 international to finish emphatically past George Long. Blackpool rocks. Millwall are going to need to show what they are made of at Bloomfield Road on Friday night. I back this group of players to produce a response because they have done it so often over the past couple of years, and that's why they have managed to at least be in the playoff conversation in recent seasons. They have lost back-to-back league matches for the first time since August. Now the pressure, if it wasn't already being felt, is cranked up even more. It's exactly the kind of scenario when these players have performed, especially if they find themselves back as the underdogs for a top six finish when they arrive in Lancashire. I can still remember Millwall being set to miss out on the League One playoffs until Sean Hutchinson's 85th minute header earned them a 4-3 win at Bristol Rovers on the final day of pain. They crept into the playoffs last time. It doesn't matter again how they do it this time. The reality is that they are probably going to have to win both of their matches to stand a chance of that happening. Yeah, almost certainly. Almost certainly. So that's it for the news. There's not a lot going on today. I don't think a lot of people really want to write things after a defeat. It's kind of depressing, isn't it? So we're going to move on to the stats. This is from infogoal.net. If you look in the middle above the red FT, the XG, expected goals, is 2.29. Wigan and 1 for Millwall. So it's exactly the goals scored went exactly as the XG suggested, 2 to 1. This is Wigan's chances. You can see there some very good chances, 2 of which they scored, all in the same area. So Will Keane there, that one didn't go in. Will Keane there, that one did go in. Then Ascard there, that one did go in. That's 3 really good chances, and they had many other lesser chances. Mill's best chance they did score from. It was the only one in near the 6-yard box. They had another couple. Next best one was that on Bradshaw on the 50th minute. So yeah, they certainly outshot us. Fairness rating, was that a fair result? 95.35 out of 100. That was a fair result, basically based on the way the two teams played and the chances they created. If we go and change this to first half, second half, first half, there you can see. So they only had 4 shots, Wigan, and we had 2. So pretty subdued first half overall. Second half though, they were possessed because they went in at 1-1, didn't they? And here's Millwall. Shots are few and far between. Okay, so moving on to whoscored.com, and this one was a bit of a weird one. So we lost 2-1, but they've given Scott Malone as the highest rated player in that game, shortly ahead of James McLean and Jules Saville. So it'll be interesting to see why that is. So you can see Millwall were effective, creating goal scoring opportunities from through balls and from long shot situations, and Wigan were they've got a whole load of strengths there. So yeah, Wigan on the left and Mill on the right. So attempts on goal 16 to 9, 10 to 6 overplay, 5 to 3 set pieces. So they actually have more set pieces than us. 1 to 0 counter attack. So that means basically the teams had pretty much the same conversion rate. They had 12%, we had 11. They had more shots than us. So there it is. And we went down the wings, and they just they're pretty evenly spread. The shot directions, left side. That's probably why Scott Malone's up there. He probably had a few shots from that left side. Shot zones, there you go. Action zones, positions. Ooh. Very compacted Millwall team. Playing very deep. Bradshaw basically playing on the centre circle. That's his average. These are average positions for the players. Weird. You can see Scott Malone bombing forward. So, and if you watch Wigan's goals back, they both came down that side. Do we need to switch to if Malone can't play left back properly, if he just wants to be a wing back, well, we're gonna have to switch the formation back. Get the best out of the players that we've got. I don't know. Whatever it takes to win that game, we need to do it. Whether it's 3-5-2, whatever, 4-4-2, whatever we need to do, we need to do it. Yeah. So moving on to this, also from WhoScored.com. If you look at the club badges at the top left, top right, see the average player rating for Wigan is 6.56 and for Millwall 6.42. So not that much difference. Not that much difference. Like I said, they gave the man of the match award to Malone. Interestingly, okay. Long got 5.9. That suggests that the shots on target, he didn't deal with them properly. We'll see. We'll see. Subs for Millwall just not very good at all. 5.9 across the board. Was it the subs that cost us the game? I mean, we conceded straight after, like 2 minutes after the subs were made. The last round of subs. So let's have a roll through this. Here's the total shots. So we had 3: Saville, Fleming, Bradshaw. Saville had more shots than Fleming and Bradshaw. Possession wise, pretty much even, 49 to 50. Pass success percentage pretty much the same, 74 to 72. Styles 85. Interesting. Okay. Their keeper 22. Yeah, he did have a dodgy kick out that nearly cost him, didn't it? So dribbles 4 to 7. Aerials 1, 23 to 27. Bradshaw 4, Saville 4, Cooper 5. Everyone from Millwall won an aerial except for Mitchell. Tackles 10 to 7. Again, you've got Saville as the leading tackler for Millwall, along with Malone. Corners 5 to 3. These are the players who won the corners. Dispossessed 3 to 6. That's a bad stat, but there you go. Let's move on to this. Also from WhoScored.com. So let's have a look at the Wigan team. So how many shots did they have? It was 16, wasn't it? So they had 16 shots. So they had 16 shots, but they had 2 on target. So that's why George Long score is better. Because they had 2 shots on target and they scored 2 goals. Simple maths. Maths. Here are the Mill team. 7.78 for Malone. Saville 7.66. So even though Saville scored the goal, they've given Scott Malone a higher score. I think Saville looks like he was on main attacking outlet. He's had 8 touches of the ball. Was he a fullback or is he a left winger? What was he doing? So he had the most touches, then Jake Cooper, then Hutchinson, then McNamara. So our defence having the most touches of the ball. Our shots, 9 shots that we had, 3 of them were on target. So we had more shots on target than they did, but we only scored 1 goal. We had 1 offside. So here's the defence. Who did all the defensive stuff? Scott Malone 2, Saville 2 in terms of tackling. Not a lot of tackles from Millwall. Interceptions. 3 from Saville, 2 from Scott Malone. Clearances. 5 for Hutch, 4 for Cooper, 3 for Saville, 3 for George Long. 2 from Danny Mack, 2 from Zion. Block shots, Hutch 3, Cooper 2. So was that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? So they had, 16 shots. 7 of them were blocked. 2 went in. That's 9. So there's 7 shots on the count. Soon went high and wide. But hey ho, passing wise, we had the most passes from Mill, Jake Cooper. So it's the defence. The defence were just passing it amongst themselves, trying to get it forward, but it wasn't really happening. We weren't getting the ball higher up the pitch. But when we did, we scored that goal. Passing accuracy, you have Billy Mitchell 83 off of 42, and then you've got Scott Malone 76 off of 47. Styles is 85, it was off 27, so crosses and accurate crosses 9 and 7. Scott Malone. So Scott Malone was the main attacking outlet in that game. Billy Mitchell 4 and 2, Styles 2 and 0, Burke 2 and 0. Long balls and accurate long balls, George Long 24 and 7. So you got long balls 24. So George Long had 7 short passes, and his pass accuracy was 45. Sean Hutchinson 18 and 7, Malone 14 and 9, Cooper 14 and 5, Danny McNamara 7 and 0. Ouch. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So free rules and accurate free rules, not a thing that we normally deal with, but that led to goal. Callum Styles, major work for that. He doesn't get the assist. Bradshaw gets the assist. Did they give Bradshaw the assist? Yeah, they did. Styles made that goal. He set it up really, and with that through ball. But yeah, interesting. I don't know why or how they've given Scotland a higher score than anyone else in the game. Kind of weird, but hey ho. So moving on to the week ahead for the championship. What it means for us. I'm just going to talk through a few permutations of what could happen. So there's game every day this week. For some reason, the game is in hand. I think it's probably to do with Sky. Sky have done this, probably. I don't know if they're all on TV. I didn't check. They're all kicking off at 8, which is Sky's TV time. Not 7:45, so I assume they're all Sky. There's a lot of drama going on, except for probably the Rotherham Cardiff game. Well, that's relegation stuff, so maybe yeah. But all of these games in hand, they've got something involved in them. So first up is Luton Middlesbrough. It's not really affecting us because if we go over and look at the table now, this is from bbc.co.uk/sport football. So Luton Town and Middlesbrough, they're in a league of their own. Basically, it's the top. It's Burnley, Sheffield United, and then Luton and Middlesbrough are in their own league. And then there's a massive drop off between teams from 5th and 13th. We can still finish between 5th and 13th, depending on the results that we get and other teams as well in those last 2 or 3 games. So Luton and Middlesbrough are playing their game in hand, and what that means, I assume, if I think if that's a draw, then Sheffield United promote, sort of, maybe. 76. Not quite. Okay. So yeah, so there's that. That's not really concerning us, but this one is on Tuesday. Blackburn at home to Burnley. Now Burnley, as I said, was mentioned by Richard Corley in his piece earlier. Burnley lost to QPR. How do you do that? QPR, absolute basket case of club at the moment. But they lost at home to QPR, so you would think that they would want to scratch their heads and deal with that, because that was only their third. It was only their third defeat of the season. Sure, they want to deal with that. So, if Blackburn win that game, they will go up to 6. They will go on to 68 points. they'll go up to 5th. We will drop down to 8th. Okay, so on Tuesday night, around about 10 o'clock, we could be 8th. Right? Going back. Pardon me. Now on Wednesday, Sheffield United are at home to West Brom. Obviously, Sheffield United are going to have to respond to Monday's game, Luton Middlesbrough. I think if Luton win that, if either of those teams win that game, that's going to be put pressure on Sheffield. Sheffield have got an extra game in hand because, of course, they played in the FA Cup semi-final against Man City and lost. It was 3-0 last. It may have finished higher than that, but they certainly lost that game quite readily. Will that affect them? Can they still turn up? Don't know. So on Wednesday, West Brom. If West Brom win that game, which they may or may not do, they couldn't win at home to Sunderland. But if Blackburn win on Tuesday, they go up to 68 points. We drop down to 8. West Brom win on Wednesday, they go up to 66 points, and we drop down to 9th. So going into our game on Friday, we could be in 9th place. Thursday there's a game, doesn't really affect us, it's a relegation scrap. So going into our game on Friday, we could be 9th. But we win that game if, if they sort of figure it out, sort a few things out, change information, do something, and win that game, Friday night game in Blackpool, we will go back up to 68. We get 68 points. We will go back up to 5th. So we could drop down to 9th before that game. Win it, we jump back up to 5th. Okay? Okay. Now, then we go on to Saturday. All the other teams are playing on Saturday. We have the Coventry City at home to Birmingham. Not an easy game. Local derby. We've got Swansea away to Hull. That's affecting us. But here's the thing. So if we win that game, we go on 68 points. That basically means that Swansea and Norwich can only equal us, and they will need to do it on goal difference. Because if they've got 2 games left, they're on 62. If they win both of those games, they get to 68. So if we beat Blackpool, we basically knock them out, but only it goes down to goal difference. But they can't overtake us on points. It will have to be on goal difference. We have a slightly better goal difference than them, not by much on Norwich, but quite a bit on Swansea. But if we win that game on Blackpool, obviously our goal difference will go up. Even if it's a 1-0 win, it'll go up to 8. So by winning at Blackpool, we effectively, Watford are knocked out of it, so it doesn't matter about their result on Saturday. Swansea and Norwich can't go above us. They can only equal our points tally and need to do it on goal difference. So that means we will then be playing against Coventry, Sunderland, Blackburn, West Brom, and Preston. So it drops by 3 teams. By winning at Blackpool, we knock 3 teams out of it, basically. Okay? So we have Sheffield United again playing at Preston. So they're playing on Wednesday. They're playing at home on Saturday, the 29th, Lancashire thing. If Preston win that game, they go on to 66. They cannot go above us immediately, because if we beat Blackpool, we're on 68. So they can't go above us. The only teams that would be able to go above us again is Blackpool and West Brom. If they win those games in hand, they would have gone above us, then we would have gone back above. Understand? Okay. Then we got Sunderland, Watford. Like I said, if we beat Blackpool on Friday, then that knocks Watford out. They are out of it. Can't do shit. So why would they turn up and beat Sunderland? Who knows in this league? This league's crazy. But again, if they do that, Sunderland would have could only get, so if Sunderland lose, they'll have 1 more game to play and they'll be on 65. So if they do win their last game, they'll only get to 68, which is what we would have been on if we beat Blackpool. You understand? So we certainly do need Watford to beat Sunderland. That would be tasty. And then we've got the big one, West Brom versus Norwich again. Norwich, if we win at Blackpool, that effectively knocks Norwich out of it. They can only equal us, and they'll have to go above us on goal difference, not on points. But we still want them to beat West Brom, because that takes West Brom out of it. And Norwich got a slight chance. West Brom got a very good chance. So again, it's crazy. It's crazy. But one thing is certain: we need to win against Blackpool, and we're probably going to need to beat Blackburn on that last game of the season. And that game is sold out. You can't buy a ticket to the game. It's all sold out. Hospitality, all the other seats have sold out. So yeah, it's going to be a cracker. But here's the thing: if we lose to Blackpool, how many people are going to try and return their tickets? Because we could effectively be out of it if we lose to Blackpool. So we need to beat Blackpool. That's it. That's simple as. Simple as. On that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.